Mr. Ryan.
Okay, so Josh, stop that. Stop with the nonsense.
No,
Okay.
what's up?
What's up, everybody? Okay, so my name is Ryan. Welcome back to my channel. So tonight is another movie night. Me and Josh just watched Murder on the Orient Express, the 2017 remake directed by and starring Kenneth Branagh. So this is a really interesting film that I really wanted to get Josh's thoughts on. Let's just jump into this. So I'm gonna give my non-spoiler thoughts first, and then Josh, you can give your non-spoiler thoughts if you have any, or if you can't avoid spoilers, you can just go ahead and give your full thoughts. But I'll start out with my non-spoiler thoughts. So I'm a big fan of murder mysteries, and for the most part, I think this is a pretty dang good one. I think Kenneth Branagh does a really good job directing this film and starring in it as our detective Hercule Poirot. Now, I know some people aren't a big fan of him. He's not like your classic Poirot. He makes some changes to the character, but I don't personally mind that. I really enjoy his portrayal of Poirot. And the cast he assembled for this film is another reason I love murder mysteries, is because they usually have all-star casts, and this one, I think everyone did such a really good job. It has a fantastic cast that I enjoy watching. It's just fun to see all these actors in a film like this. You've got Johnny Depp, Josh Gad, Judi Dench, Willem Dafoe, Leslie Odom Jr., Daisy Ridley, Michelle Pfeiffer, a bunch of other big names in this film. It's just fun to see them all in a film like this, and I think they all gave such good performances. I think the murder and the investigation, the setup and the payoff and everything is really good as well. I enjoyed the investigation. There are some parts of this film that I think for the most part it's really well shot, but there are some like awkward angles that Branagh uses. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, Josh, but the overhead shot when they open his cabin, you know how it was like overhead shot and they were talking? Was that awkward to you at all? Because I really don't like that shot.
See, I actually don't mind it because I think that kind of goes with the way the film was being directed, is he was purposely using weird shots. So that didn't bother me. It was just his stylistic choice.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, there's some other weird shots like that throughout the film, but for the most part, I think there's some beautiful shots in this film, and for the most part, it's pretty well shot. First time watching this film, I've seen this film a couple times before, but in my first time viewing, I wasn't able to guess what the reveal was, and I thought the reveal was pretty satisfying and pretty clever, and I think it makes it stand out amongst murder mysteries, and I'll talk more about that when we get into spoiler thoughts, because I can't really talk about my big problems with the film without getting into spoiler thoughts, but non-spoiler wise, the reveal for the most part I think really worked, but what happens after the reveal, the ending, I have a big problem with. It's a really weird film for me because 90% of it I really, really enjoy, and I think it's really well done, but that last 10%, the ending and what happens when after the reveal, I have a big problem with, but I won't talk about that here. But let's just dive into your thoughts, Josh. What did you think about this film? This was your first time watching Murder on the Orient Express.
I'll give like my non-spoiler thoughts, but I'll also give my spoiler thoughts after. So with my non-spoiler thoughts, I thought the film was really good. I liked how chill it was. I liked just the character of Poirot and how cool he was, and also how level-headed he was. He didn't really care about any of the optics. He just cared about what was in front of him. He cared about what was right and what was wrong, and nothing in between. That was kind of his whole character. But what I also really enjoyed about his character was just the way he developed, because he goes from being this guy who sees black and white, who goes from seeing right and wrong, to understanding that there's times where there is sometimes gray that exists, and he understands that towards the end of the film. And I think if this is like one of the most gray things you could see in a film, because it's a really like a, what's the word? It's a moral dilemma type predicament, and so it's an interesting film in that respect. I also say like a bunch of the other characters did a really good job. Felt like the film flew by. Like I don't know, like the film is 2 hours long, but I didn't feel like it was 2 hours long.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm surprised like how dark it is outside. Like it did not feel like we were sitting here for that long. And so the film went by fast, and so it felt really good. It's a pretty dang good murder mystery, and everything else of the like is also pretty good. So, in general, just really digging the film. Will be the spoiler part. Is the fact that there were, so spoilers, it wasn't just the fact that it was one or two people. Because I told Ryan midway through, I was like,
He did.
it's definitely multiple people. I just thought it was two people in specific. But really, what it was, and what made sense, is that it was all 12 of them. But what was cool about it is, like, I guess the clue is that the knife stabbing is just random, completely random. And so how does it completely random? You have 12 different people stabbing him, right? And so that's kind of the whole thing with it. So that was a really cool twist, I thought. Was the ending part wherever he gives her the gun and says shoot. I think that was to test if there was the test if that girl was actually a killer. Like, would you try to shoot me? And she.
Oh, okay.
And I think what really like solidified it for him being like because there was no bullets in the gun, and what solidified it for me was the fact that for him was that when she went to do it, she didn't try to shoot him. She tried to shoot herself, going to the fact that she didn't feel good about the situation. That it was really like we wanted justice for the family because the guy was guilty by all means, right? And so you could say it's vigilante justice because it is vigilante justice. And I think that's something Poirot was struggling with is like, well, it's murder. But really it's also like it's a moral dilemma, right? Because this is family seeking justice. And actually, biblically, if we really want to talk about it biblically, if you know what a refuge city is actually for these types of reasons, because a person could be murdered that's related to somebody, and they could seek justice by trying to come for you.
Cities of refuge you're talking about?
Yeah, you'll see it like cities of refuge.
So that's, correct me if I'm wrong, that's where if you accidentally killed someone, you could flee to that city to avoid being murdered by the family who has to execute justice.
And in that case, it's accidental, right? But I think there's also, like, principally, there's something there to the fact, like, you know what I mean? That there's, like, a sense of wanting revenge and justice. You see that in, I believe, don't quote me if I'm wrong here, I believe it's in Deuteronomy 19. It's in Judges chapter 20. And I think it's Numbers chapter 35. Check me on that, but
I'll put a little
thing.
Am
I right or wrong? Is it Numbers 35? If you know your Bible, put in the comments. Is it Numbers 35?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a moral dilemma, and I think that's the thing about the film is that, you know, you could say the film is a murder mystery. I actually think the film is a lot deeper than just a murder mystery. I mean, obviously it is a murder mystery. Yeah. But I think the film is the development of Poirot. It's him going from being a guy who just sees black and white to being a guy who understands that, man, there's so much more complexity to life, and not every situation is the same. And I think that's what he realizes at the end. So I enjoyed his character development, and I enjoyed how this film ended.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts. I enjoy it. I'd probably, if I had to give it anything out of 10, probably give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed the film.
Okay, wow.
I think my only thing that I didn't care for is, like, it felt like the film, like, you know, it went by so fast. And in going by so fast, it felt like there was just, like, parts where there was just, like, nothingness almost. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's some parts where it's like, was that necessary? Like, what was the purpose of that?
Yeah, that would be my only thing. But I mean, it's not like it makes it feel like it's dragging. It's just weird. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like progresses the film forward, I guess.
So I've been wanting to watch this film with Josh for a while because first time I watched it, I had a problem with the ending, and like Josh said, it's a big moral dilemma. Come the end, we find out everyone did it, and it's really cool. It's tied to this old murder case. The murder victim is the killer of a infant that he kidnapped years ago, and everyone has something to do with that infant or the parents or something like that. I thought that was a really cool reveal. Like I said in my non-spoiler thoughts, I think the reveal that it's everyone involved, it's really cool and it makes it stand out amongst murder mysteries. However, you brought out some things I never thought about before, Josh. Like, this is more than just a murder mystery. This is about Poirot getting a reality check that sometimes things aren't black and white. There is some gray. But my big problem with this film is I'm not quite sure he's justified by letting them all go come the end. Because he says they're not killers, but they all took turns at stabbing him. They are killers, you know what I mean? And he just lets them go. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they should face justice. They should all be arrested. Understand, like, the victim killed a child. He should have gotten the death penalty and he didn't, and these people were trying to rectify that. But that's vigilante justice, that you cannot be judge, jury, and executioner all on your own. Letting them go, I also think, puts the idea in their head that they could possibly get away with such a thing again.
I don't think so, actually, because I think that the whole way that the film, I don't think that's necessarily a wrong way of viewing it, but I think the way you got to think about it is that this is a very unique circumstance. Like, remember, Poirot says throughout the film, this is a crime he's never dealt with. This is like the toughest crime he's ever had to solve. Mm-hmm. And so the case is unique. It's like very unique, and it's tied to everybody. I think the thing that is so tough for Poirot is not that he's letting them go. It's that he's struggling to understand, and this is what I think he understands. His way of viewing what justice is got flipped on its head. Because justice is not something that I think he's realizing that justice is not just something that can be enforced by the formal facet of the law. That justice is like something that just exists, like in reality. Like this want for justice, this desire for justice. And I think that's what he's coming to, like, this really weird conclusion of, is that, man, like, I've only known that justice is black and white. Justice is only what is written in the law. But what happens when justice is, like, it's not just that, though. Justice is the reality of the world. Like, there's a yearning for justice. Mm-hmm. And he's understanding that. And he's like, all of these people didn't kill this guy because of murder. They killed him out of justice. And you could say, well, that's not right. But the thing is, that's the whole point of the film, is how is Poirot supposed to say that they're wrong? You see what I'm saying? Like, this is where Poirot is coming to, like, a hard reality, where Poirot is like, and I think it challenges the watcher too, to come to their own conclusion about what are the people wrong, where the
that
people
is one
wrong.
thing I really enjoy about this one. I think it makes you have to think about it and come to your own conclusion. It makes you ask those tough questions.
Yeah, because I don't know if I could say.
What I'm trying to do here is come to, like, what should actually be done in the real world in that situation.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is, like, I don't know. I think if something like that happened in the real world, I think it'd be one of those things where, yeah, if it's under the law, I think under the law, it's like an illegal thing, right? But under, like, the way we understand justice, like, imagine, I'll give a real life scenario. I won't give an example, but I'll give, like, a real life scenario. Father has a daughter, the daughter is raped, the daughter is killed. The guy who kills and rapes daughter is let off free. The father hunts down the guy and kills the guy who killed his daughter and raped his daughter. Is he wrong for doing that? You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
You see, that's the dilemma.
Is one allowed to play judge, jury, and executioner all on their own?
See, that's the dilemma.
See, I'm trying to think about this biblically. Like, biblically, what is the thing to do in that situation? Mm-hmm. Is that allowable, or do they all need to be arrested?
See, this is where I say, like, I think the Bible would say we submit to the authority. But I don't know, because I don't, like I said, like, I don't really think this is, like, something where you can think black and white about it. I think this is a really gray circumstance. And I think that's what I would challenge you with, is that the circumstance is not just that black and white. It's not something where we can put Bible on it and just be like, oh, well, this circumstance. I think it's like, yeah, the Bible has stuff to say about this, but I think the Bible has also a lot of other stuff to say about it. And so I just think I'm perplexed. I think there's a lot of gray. So
Josh just pulled out, what was it, Numbers 35?
Numbers 35, but you also see this in Deuteronomy 19 to a lesser degree. But
Mm-hmm.
Numbers 35 is the most clear instruction of these cities of refuge for the Levites. But it's an interesting conversation because we talked about this already in the video, but to bring more context to it, the refuge city is for someone who commits manslaughter accidentally murders someone.
Yeah.
Or I'll say accidentally kills someone. Because the Bible doesn't call that person a murderer.
They didn't mean to.
They didn't commit it with an act of enmity.
Yes, it was unintentional.
Something accidentally happened to kill someone. So that person is granted a refuge city and a trial. But if somebody kills somebody with intent and force, that person is actually called a murderer. In the Old Testament, so that person is called a murderer, and they're told to be put to death by who? The avenger of the blood. Who's the avenger in this case, in the film?
And who's the avenger of blood in the Bible? It's a family member of the victim, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Someone related.
Yeah.
But this is what we see here. Is like, this is what takes place. And I think that's what I was trying to say, is that legally what happens with this family in the film, it's illegal actually, under their laws. Like, under the law of the government, it's illegal. And so they're supposed to submit to the law of the government. Which means what? Not that you don't follow God's law, but that if you do follow God's law and it goes against the government's law, you will still face the punishment. And that's what it means, submitting to the punishment and the authority of the law. So that if you do break the law, it's not I'm going to follow God's law, but if it contradicts my law, I'm going to follow God's law still. But you know what that means? I have to face the punishment of the law. Mm-hmm. But what's really interesting is Poirot, he's a guy who always thinks about that, right? Like, he's like black and white law, right? And she's not like, I'm going to kill Poirot. That's not what type of time she was on. She was like, I'm going to kill myself because I don't feel great about what's happened. I care about... Yeah, everyone... when you see the stabbing take place, everyone like looks away, is like regretful of what they're doing. Yeah. So... Poirot has this understanding that... and this is what I'm saying, like, he doesn't just come to understand that justice is like something that's written in the law books. Justice is something that is like I said, it's a reality of God. It's a conviction that God has placed in the heart of his creation, that when something happens that is bad, there's a sense of yearning for justice. Mm-hmm. And in this case, his family is like that guy's effect, like the guy killing the daughter, it didn't just kill the daughter, it killed that whole family. It ruined a bunch of lives. No, it didn't just do that, it killed the entire family. Yes, like, the wife went into forced labor and died, and the pregnant baby. And the baby died. And then her husband killed himself. Yeah, because he was so grieved. Yes. He lost all his family. And so think about that for a second, man. Like, it wasn't... This is some of the worst thing. This is like the most grievous action you could think of. So, yeah, I actually think, like, even more so. Like, I feel pretty strongly that what the family did was the right thing. I think the film wants us to think about it. Like, do we think they did the right thing or the wrong thing? Or do we think it was, like, great or not great? I really think the film is about Poirot, just his development. Like, his development from letter of the law to God's law, to, like, the reality of justice and what it actually means. Mm-hmm. And that it's much more complicated than just what's written in a law book. Yeah, that's what I think. But that was an interesting passage we dug up in Numbers 35. Oh, yeah. I just appreciate you bringing that out, Josh, because I never thought about that. When I first watched this film, I was like, oh, okay, what they did was wrong. That you can't let them get away with that, but bringing out the stuff about the Avenger of Blood, I think that's really interesting. That makes this film gain a couple more points in my mind. I just never thought about that, but that's why I wanted to watch this film with you, because I knew you could bring out some really good stuff and we could discuss this, and we should be doing this as Christians, right? Tackling difficult questions. What's very, very beneficial is discussing it together and getting multiple thoughts and perspectives. One of my favorite verses is in Proverbs where it says, there's wisdom or safety in a multitude of counselors. Yeah. We should be discussing these questions that aren't easy, and as brothers and sisters in the faith, and coming to figuring out what the conclusion, the right answer is, with these, like, not so black and white, where right and wrong isn't so easy. We need to discuss these things. Yeah, for sure. So that's why I just really wanted to watch this film with you and talk about it, because I just love this kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. And it makes us think. It led to a good discussion. Yeah, and if I may add something. Yeah. I think that, what we see here is in the Torah, these passages in Deuteronomy 19 and Numbers 35, right? It's not in Judges, by the way. I don't know why I thought Judges. But it's in Numbers 35, and it's in Deuteronomy 19. We have been given a new covenant, though, in Jesus Christ. And, it's weird because in this covenant that we're in through Jesus in this new covenant, we're actually told to forgive people like this.
Yes.
that killed this guy. It doesn't mean that justice doesn't take place, but it means that we're actually supposed to be forgiving this type of guy.
Yeah, it doesn't free you from the consequences of your actions. Forgiveness, so.
Yeah, forgiveness is supposed to take place, and you're not actually supposed to go and murder that guy. Like
right.
that's the freaking tough thing. And it's because we don't deserve life. Like, we don't deserve to be in the new covenant, but God, through His Son, through His mercy, is like graciousness and mercy, has brought us into that through His Son's sacrifice. So I think there's a whole different principle, New Testament, through the new covenant, more specifically, of Jesus Christ. So that would be the only other thing I want to add. But I think, at least from the film's perspective, you think about this Old Testament passage, specifically this law passage in the Torah. I mean, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. I think you can understand why the family feel it. And I think that speaks to the reality of justice.
I really love this discussion we've had, but I'm still not quite sure I'm fully convinced that what they did was right. I have to think more about it. But it does gain the film a few more points because it just didn't think about some stuff. It's just such an interesting film, man. Just such an interesting film. But Josh, I appreciate you watching this with me, brother, and bringing those things out and having a good discussion. Really appreciate you.
Heck yeah, I appreciate you too, Ryan. Love having these movie nights.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go into the theaters. We haven't been to the theaters in a minute. We got to find something in theaters.
Yeah. No, guys, I'm sorry we haven't been seeing a lot of movies in theaters recently. Because nothing's out, bruh. But November, a lot of stuff comes out. Wicked Part 2, Zootopia 2, Now You See Me 3, Wake Up Dead Man. My most anticipated film of the year. So hopefully we'll be back in the theaters a lot in November. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, if you enjoyed it, let us know down below what you think of Murder on the Orient Express, the 2017 remake. If you've seen it, we would love to have a conversation with y'all about this film and debate whether that ending was justifiable or not. Click right here to subscribe, and then right here is our previous movie night review for Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. And then right here is a playlist of all our movie night videos. Want to check out those. And with that, hope y'all have a blessed one, guys. We'll see y'all in the next video.